Will the ionosphere part right in the middle of an eclipse? And will this have an effect on AM radio waves or medium wave radio signals like they do at night when you can hear those distant stations? Hi, I'm amateur radio operator Walt, K4OGO. I've got an experiment I got planned, and during the eclipse that's about to happen, we're going to see just that and answer that question. Stick around. Hey guys, I'm a radio geek, and we're going to geek out today because there's an eclipse, a very rare thing to happen, and the sky is beautiful. This is Norfolk, Virginia. I'm down in the harbor trying to get away from the noise, although there's a lot going on here. It's kind of a noisy day. What I want to find out is if AM radio signals, medium wave radio signals, will skip during the eclipse like they do at night. Now, quick overview of what happens with AM radio signals or medium wave signals is during the day, the ionosphere is made up of the D, the E, F1 and F2 layers. And during this time, AM signals are basically what's called a ground wave. They won't skip and they get absorbed into the ionosphere. At night, when the D and the E layers go away, the ionosphere turns into one, just the F layer. And this is when we all experience the phenomenon of skip of AM radio signals, and we can hear those distant AM signals far away. I've got a little plan and a thing I want to do to experiment to see if I can do this during an eclipse, and this is how it's going to go. I'm going to tune my AM radio. I have a Texan. This is a really good, kind of a high-end AM radio for what we call DXing, a PL368 Texan antenna, radio, and it has an external antenna jack. What I'm going to do is take a cable and take this loop. This is an AM loop antenna or medium wave loop antenna. And what I'm going to do, there's two stations. I'm going to go to 740 kilohertz and experiment listening to two stations. So these two stations are WMBG in Williamsburg, Virginia, which is about 45 miles west-northwest of me. It's a low power station that's going to have 500 watts. At night, on that same frequency, they turn down their power to like 7 watts, WMBG in Williamsburg does, and I get what's called Zoomer radio out of Toronto. Zoomer is CFZM on 740 kilohertz. It is a clear channel, 50,000 watt, just a flamethrower, a torch of a station, and they can pick it up pretty good here. But never, ever, ever have I gotten it during the day. Well, at around what will be about 3:20 p.m. here Eastern time is totality in Toronto and about 80% here for me. So we should be able to see at that point if this experiment will work. So here you go. Here's my setup. That's the Texan PL368. I have it tuned to 740, and I also have the Texan loop antenna here. That is my AN200 loop antenna. So pretty great, pretty cool. I got it tuned. There's a tuner here, so what you do is you can tune in, and that right there is directly at the station. I'm not playing the station right now because they're playing music. When they get back to voice, I'll maybe do a quick demo and as we go. We're about a half hour away from totality of the eclipse, so I'm getting a ground wave signal now directly from Williamsburg, Virginia, 45 miles away right here as we're set up this way. That means that way is north, and that'll be the direction of Toronto for me here later when the eclipse happens, and we will see then if I could pick up Zoomer radio.
AM 740 WMBG. All-Star lineup continues next at 3 o'clock with Ryan Morkel taking care of biz, getting you home. Ryan Chase tonight for your evening, making sure your soundtrack of your evening is all set to go.
93.5, The Bird, and AM 740.
Well, here we are, a minute from totality. I'm getting some very, very weak kind of overriding and coming in with the local Williamsburg, Virginia station. I think the problem is the 500 watts in the ground wave, even with the trying to null it with the loop antenna there. It's just that signal is just a little bit too much for to get the 740 in Toronto. But I think what I'm going to do now real quick is while I'm getting like right at totality, see if I can get another station that will kind of see maybe somewhere up, maybe New York or so. Here you go. WABC New York. And 66 WFAN New York. So New York right now at 3:23, about 3 minutes after what should have been totality there. I'm getting New York stations. And here is WCBS 880 New York. The better reception so far.
Editor here at Odyssey in New York. David, thank you. Chief Meteorologist Craig Allen joins us from a rooftop in Lower Manhattan. Craig, we're 30 seconds away from the peak, and how's it looking from your vantage point?
It is incredible, Stephen. There is a patch of blue that's up there. I mean,
as you can hear,
they're
at their peak right now, so pretty cool. I'm getting New York City here, pretty decent reception, so a little bit of a change in plans, but that's neat. That's neat to get 3 New York stations at 3:30 in the afternoon here in southeastern Virginia.
However, one thing that we have,
and now like WFAN 66, all these New York stations are getting stronger as I go through this. Get to the other side. I think that means the ionosphere has had a little bit longer to react. But yeah, 66 WFAN New York.
Middle of the night darkness? No, it's
yeah, WCBS still coming in strong here. A few minutes after, so yeah, pretty cool. Great experience. And I think this may be the true tale of the experiment. There's 880 WCBS New York. That was the strongest station I could get, and it is fading away. So that may somewhat answer the question and maybe come to a conclusion in my experiment. So what do you think? A little change of plan and to do the experiment. I've got a conclusion that I've reached, but I do know one thing. The ionosphere didn't part as like a nice, beautiful go away, and we had nothing but the F layer up there. I'm convinced that didn't happen. Therefore, just a faint minute or so on 740 kilohertz, I could hear another station kind of trying to come in with the local WMBG here. WMBG was just too strong, and I don't know if that was the Canadian Zoomer radio station or not, but one thing was really cool though is when I tuned over and checked the New York stations, they were there, and I know it's possible. I think it's about 295 to 300 miles from, I looked it up, from their towers to here. So it could have been a ground wave. It would have been a heck of a ground wave to get here, but I think it was maybe a little bit of a hybrid reaction going on there. Something was going on with the ionosphere, because those signals from the New York stations got strong after what would have been the minute or two, the strongest, the peak or totality. And for about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, they were really strong, and then they faded away, which makes me think the ionosphere, it was going through a little bit of a change there, the D and the E layer, but it never was, the sun was never off of it long enough to completely fade out, and you know what I mean, and get the, you know, the charged area or the uncharged and get up to the F layer like it happens at night. I know, you know, usually even in the early evenings, the gray line, it's still light outside. You get pretty good AM medium wave reception, but yeah, that's kind of my conclusion. Something was going on. It just wasn't, you know, the ionosphere didn't part, and we had amazing DX up and down the ionosphere. It was more or less, it got tickled a little bit, and we got a few tickly little 3 or 4 minute improved, we'll say, ground wave / skip through something there, and those New York stations for sure. Anyway, that was a fun experiment for me. It didn't go completely like I wanted it to, but it wasn't a fail completely. I got to do some other things as well, you know, tune around to other stations. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'm Walt, K4OGO. Hey, if you're into radio, be it ham radio or HF radio or whatever, please like and subscribe. See you later.